prepping my very last injection. It is my Lupron injection. Just got the instructions from my clinic, and my last trigger shot is at 10:30 p.m. and gotta give myself 80 units. Come in tomorrow for one last blood draw to make sure the trigger worked, and then my appointment is scheduled for Tuesday morning. So not super pumped about the 10:30 trigger shot. It is past my bedtime. I know I'm an old person, but I also usually wake up at like 5 in the morning. So yeah, I go to bed before 10:30. But her other instructions were great. First of all, she asked me if I was feeling like bloated and uncomfortable, and I was like, yeah, I am a lot. She's like, cool, after your retrieval, that's gonna feel better, but then it's gonna come back. I was like, oh, you had my hopes up, right? She's like, we're gonna take a bunch of fluid out of your ovaries, obviously, so it's gonna make it feel better, but then your body's gonna like rush to try to replace it. She's like, for the next few days, you need to try to eat like a bunch of protein and a bunch of salt. She's like, just, you know, chips, fries, Chinese food. This is your time to shine, like go for it. Because you're trying to get the water to attach to the salt, right? Instead of fill back into your ovaries. And then she's like, try not to drink just straight water, try, you know, Gatorade. And then of course, with all of these fun medications, she's like, if you haven't been, you know, struggling with constipation so far, yeah, it's even worse afterwards. And I was like, this isn't, what? Are you sure it's not just all the fries and chips I'm gonna eat? Anyway, it was just funny because you never get told by a medical professional, yeah, Chinese food, that's what you should be eating. It's hilarious. Excited to have my last injection. My tummy is certainly struggle bussing along. Just all red and unhappy. It's not super bruised. Okay, fine. There's a few bruises happening, but nothing crazy. Not like the intermuscular shots for like progesterone and oil and what I've seen from ladies who've gone through that. Feeling okay because it's almost the end. I mean, it's not that, when you're just doing the retrieval, it's not honestly that many days of injections and medicine and stuff, and it's just more uncomfortable than anything. So maybe like a week more of uncomfortableness. And the nurse seemed a little concerned that I might overstimulate. And my last blood draw, my estradiol was 2600, and which puts it doubling every 2 days. And if your estradiol is over 3000, it puts you in a higher risk category for OHSS. And I'm polycystic. I had polycystic ovaries. Like it might happen. Anyway, I'm gonna try to do what the nice lady says. I'm gonna try to not just drink loads of water like I normally do, and I'm gonna try to like eat the salt like she tells me to. Honestly, shouldn't be that big of a problem, but we'll see. All right, I will check in tomorrow after I get the final go ahead that my LH level is where it needs to be for a retrieval. We're so close, ladies, so close. Night. Morning, ladies. It is the day of retrieval, and I am sitting in the parking lot of the office with the husband because obviously he needs to participate today. I got my Tylenols, I've got my Zofrans. We're supposed to take those an hour beforehand, but we're here early because I didn't want to be stressed about not being here on time. Other than that, just hoping for good, mature eggs today. This is all over the place. I haven't had breakfast, obviously, because it's a surgery and I can't have breakfast, so it's led me to be like all over the place. No breakfast, no eating past midnight, no fragrances, no makeup, obvi is happening here. Not sure what I'll be able to grab in there, but at the very least I'll update you later today. And as always, all my wonderful Instagram followers already know what is happening. So, I guess bottoms up. I'm ready to go now. Bye. I'm ready. This is a look. This is a look I can do for now. Like an ER nurse, exactly. Good morning, ladies. Well, technically it's the afternoon, but I had a bit of a late start today. Took a minute to get all ready, but it's one day post-op, so I'm giving myself a little bit of a break. I didn't film yesterday because I was grumpy and sleepy after surgery, so please forgive me. But great news, we got 33 eggs, 29 of which were mature, and 19 of which fertilized normally. So I am pumped. It has honestly taken me a minute to accept that those numbers are real and that things are going well, because I was definitely bracing myself for worst case scenario, just none of them were mature, or 3 were mature or whatever, because it was so many. And I've read all the studies that are you really want between 15 and 20, or else you risk a bunch of them not being mature because they didn't have enough space to grow. But oh my gosh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So this morning I woke up and I felt way better than I had yesterday morning, because I'm just way less full and it's way less painful to move. I'm still a little meh on a few movements, but I was able to get up and do a bunch of chores, nothing heavy, because I'm not allowed to operate heavy machinery, which the nurse said is a vacuum or more. She's like, anything vacuum or heavier is heavy machinery and you are not allowed to use it for a week. And I was like, I giggled at that yesterday. Which brings me kind of back around to how yesterday went. Fabulous. The nursing staff was great. The doctor that actually did my procedure, it wasn't my doctor, it was a different doctor in the practice, which they had already told me would happen, but I've heard great things about him, so I wasn't worried at all. Procedure went fine. It was exactly an hour between when they walked me out of the prep room into the OR and when I woke up and was ready to start recovering and talking in the recovery room. Pretty darn quick. I did have quite a bit of pain afterwards, which I wasn't totally expecting, a lot more than with my D&Cs, but I'm guessing they pumped me full of better meds after my D&C, and this one they were like, just take some Tylenol. So I did take my pain meds last night. The doctor also gave me a medicine to help with hyperstimming, since I did have so many follicles. They are a little bit worried. I have never heard of it though. I shall put it here. But I think the main mechanic is it's just trying to down regulate you, bring those hormones back down so that your ovaries stop trying to produce follicles. The other things are I'm supposed to be avoiding water, drinking Gatorade, eating salt, eating protein so that the water can bind to that instead of refill my follicles. It is really hard. I drink a lot of water during the day, and the husband had to scold me last night because I was drinking water. I'm I'm just so thirsty, and Gatorade's so sugary and I didn't want it. Anyway, working on it, trying to be good. I'm gonna go get myself some T-Bell after this clip, because that's salty, right? I feel like that's salty. It counts. And the nurse warned me too. She's like, this is why people gain weight during IVF. It's not really the meds. I was actually doing really well. I weighed myself right before the procedure yesterday and I'd only gained 2 pounds, which makes sense. If I have 33 little balls of fluid that are 2 centimeters wide or more in me, that's 2 pounds of fluid. That makes sense. And she's like, no, this is why people gain weight. It's because for 5 days they want me to avoid water and eat salt and protein. I'm gonna enjoy this for a day or 2, and then it's gonna be I want a vegetable and a fruit, please. The husband took great care of me last night and frankly the last few days, since I have just been miserable and on the couch. But I am certainly enjoying feeling better today. I will keep you posted on the recovery, and obviously I have to wait now. I'm filming this on a Wednesday, and I have to wait till Monday afternoon to get my 5-day report, because they are going to wait. Sunday will be 5 days, and they'll biopsy and freeze embryos that are healthy and look good, and then they will wait until Monday morning to let any stragglers grow, and they'll biopsy and freeze those as well, and then they'll call me Monday afternoon. We are having genetic testing done, 1, because it's included in my fertility insurance, 2, because in the long run it's cheaper to genetically test your embryos and just transfer the healthy ones than to not genetically test and pay for the transfers. I know it's a lot of money to come up with up front, and that's why people don't do it, that's one of the reasons. There's also the whole question of mosaic embryos. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. But it's just more money for people to come up with when they already needed $20,000 for IVF. So I get why people don't do it, but in the long run, it is cheaper to test the embryos you have and then only transfer the healthy ones. Anyway. And thirdly, we've had a history of abnormal chromosomes, and so while there's no indication that that is more than a statistical fluke, I don't want to risk it. And for my own mental health when doing transfers and becoming pregnant, I really need it to not be genetically abnormal. Feel like you can all feel me on that. Anyway, this was a really long update, but thank you everyone for all of your well wishes. I really appreciate all the good thoughts and good vibes and all the likes and all the watches here on YouTube. It just makes it all feel like you're not going through it alone and encourages me to keep sharing my story. So until next time, ladies, keep on fighting.